What's going on YouTube? Claykeys back again with another My Hero Academia, the strongest hero video. And in today's video, we're talking all about All Might. We're going to talk about what talents, how exactly he works, and how to make sure you maximize how strong the #1 hero can be. Let's get into it. So for you guys who have been playing with All Might, and if you haven't, All Might is an insane damage dealer, a step above what we've seen. I'm talking about PvE, and in PvP he's also a monster. Because in PvE, because of his hyper armor frames, that's, you know how when you're fighting an enemy, they have that yellow bar and they can't be CC'd. You can't knock them up with Deku. All Might has a lot of that, so he doesn't get knocked around, knocked on the ground a lot when using his abilities. He also has insane healing, insane shielding, so really he's just a big man standing there dishing out damage, can go toe-to-toe, kind of like his fight with Nomu. In this game, it's absolutely ridiculous. So first up, we're going to talk about his skills. We're going to talk about his dodge ability, so this is when you perfect dodge and it kind of slows down and you can hit it real quick and do something. He actually just does a ton of damage, dealing 300% damage, so pay attention to this modifier because it's actually pretty high, to nearby enemies within 10 seconds of the cooldown, so it starts ticking around as long as you use that. And it says nearby enemies, so this may be AoE when you're using it, which has been pretty good for me, although a lot of the fights I've been using All Might on have been single target. We're going to go over his quirk ability. So again, guys, I want to make sure you guys understand in this game, this quirk ability, which is that active you normally press, is not exactly tied to the quirk bar or the quirk ability bar that is below them. They work in tandem together, they do some things, but a lot of units, they differ. Like, for example, Kirishima, one of them gives him attack power, the other one actually makes him more defensive. So they kind of go in different ways, and one activates when it's full. It's not exactly with pressing that button and then allowing this thing to pop off. But the way All Might works is he has one for all amplification. He gets a stack of this every time he uses an expert move, and we'll talk about what an expert move is, but it's when you have the choice of either doing Carolina Smash, Oklahoma Smash, or Texas Smash in that bar down below him, and you'll get a stack of this. When Transferred Might is enabled, which that means when you enable this, so that's just a passive that you get, one for all amplification, and that'll build up for his Q. When Transferred Might is enabled, All Might's attack is increased by 30%, and he gets an additional stack of one for all amplification. So you want to press this bad boy on cooldown. You're going to be smashing people, punching them in the head, doing all the things you can, and this is just going to increase your damage and get you closer to those 7 stacks for an amazing Detroit Smash. So speaking of Detroit Smash, that's going to be his Q ability here, and I'll go by what they have here on the screen. The punch deals 120% damage, and the tornado deals an additional true damage, so it goes through, I guess, defense and stuff like that on the enemy, equal to 50% of your attack within 20 seconds. When one for all amplification reaches 7 stacks, so that means when you get to 7 stacks, you can get him from activating his quirk ability like we just talked about, or doing one of his big time moves. We'll talk about that in a minute with his quirk bar. It's going to do a lot more damage, but it consumes all those stacks. So you can keep using it on cooldown when you're using All Might, but when you get around 7 stacks, you kind of want to hold up until you get to the 7th one, and it plays this awesome animation, and he's going to do a ton of damage there. So that's how that works. Next up, we're going to look at New Hampshire Smash. All Might's going to jump into the air, come back down, and then he's going to immediately cast an Oklahoma after this once you get enough passives and have him built up. It's a pretty big hitting ability, and it also allows him to jump around and get to people if they get away from him, and also allows him to dodge some of enemies' techniques. This ability is kind of like that as well. He jumps up in the air, comes back down, smashes underneath him, and then he's going to do big damage. It's called I Am Here, and this is going to be like a combo we're going to have to look at in the future with his Texas Smash ability. Here is used again within 1 second. Enemies are knocked back and deals 75% attack damage and has a 20-second cooldown. So if you have to press it twice, but if you do, it knocks the enemies back. But then again, when we get enough of the passives and talents unlocked, we're going to be able to, both these abilities are just going to do tornadoes right after them, the Oklahoma Smash, and you'll see how crazy it kind of gets with that. His normal attack, which maybe we should have gone over a little bit earlier, but hey, we're here now. It deals damage, and the way it works, like other people, you know, you're smashing it, it does their full combo. The way All Might works is he goes 1, 2, and then he like kind of holds for a second, and then his quirk bar will go either the Detroit Smash, the Tornado, which is Oklahoma Smash, or the Texas Smash at the end. So you kind of go 1, 2, and you don't hit another button. I hold down the button so I don't mess up, so I don't keep smashing it. So 1, 2, hold, the hold doesn't matter, and it goes tick, 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 and you're going to pick one of the 3 that you want to do. So the first one is just going to go forward and Carolina Smash for the next. It's a pretty fast combo that you can spam, and again, every time you select one of these, you're getting a part of his passive that makes his Q stronger. You get to 7, you get to Detroit Smash them straight to hell. So you know, Detroit Smash is the one where he goes forward. Then you have the tornado one where you get to spin around. You get those freaking hyper armor frames where you can't be knocked down and he's spinning around doing AoE damage. And then you have Texas Smash, which actually hits pretty hard, but it takes the longest because you have to hold it, and then he hits, and then he goes through again pretty hard. So as we talked about just now, Carolina Smash, Oklahoma Smash, and then we have Texas Smash. And then it deals, you can see it deals 630%. It is the highest multiplier that we see out of all of his abilities. It really smacks hard. If no attack is made during the charge up, All Might will make it just a normal strike attack. So you need to make sure you don't let that, call it a combo, it's really not that hard to do, but you don't let that fall off or you're going to be missing out on a ton of damage, and you're going to be missing out on a stack of the passive here. What is it called? One for all amplification. So I want to make sure I got that right. So scrolling on down, we'll look at his passives that he gets. We'll only go up to S tier because maybe I'll go to SS tier because some of you guys have SS tier. All Might gains 10% plus a certain amount damage decrease while using Transferred Might. Transferred Might is this quirk ability, so not only are now you're getting attack up, you're getting a stack of the passive for the Detroit Smash, you are now also getting some mitigation, and that's the one thing you have to understand with All Might. He has a ton of mitigation, a ton of shields, a ton of healing, and a ton of like hyper armor frames to let him get through people. All Might raises its attack by 20%, so as you level this up, it's just going to get more and more attack. And then yes, I will cover the SS. Increase the speed of Heavy Strike during the 2 stages before the charge up. So it's 1, 2, and then he charges up, so it makes it a little bit faster. He also gains a shield equal to All Might's max HP for 6 seconds when he uses his normal basic attack. So again, this is all PvE. PvP, all this stuff is taken out, all these bonuses and everything. You're just fighting one-on-one, but his skill set will still matter. But like, think about that. You get the SS, you get that shield on you all the time. There's another passive where we'll get a shield as well in his talent tree, but we'll get there in a minute. And now we have his ultimate United States of Smash, 1,500% attack multiplier, and the damage goes up as you level it up. This takes a minute, and sometimes I find myself not even casting this because his other abilities are so quick. I'm not saying like hold it for too long, but it does take a minute because he catches it and he goes United States of Smash and he goes up and then it starts taking the damage. Sometimes the enemy can jump away. Sometimes the enemy will be gone. You won't be able to hit him with it, and it takes a little bit. So if you're doing those time trials, this is an ability to really, you need to time correctly or you'll find yourself missing out. But if there are a ton of enemies, this will thrash through all of them. It is amazing. So next up, we're going to go over to his talents because this is what a lot of people have been asking me about. And I think there are 2 ways you want to go about building All Might, and that's going to be up to you. So first off, you're going to end up finishing the top 2 trees pretty easily. Like, those are the 2 that are the best, is what I mean. Sorry, it's easily to confirm they're the best ones to go for. And then you want to go halfway down this bottom tree. I don't think this ability here where he pursues, he'll auto-pursue with Oklahoma Smash, which makes it easier to hunt down enemies, I guess, is not really worth it compared to the other one. So let's go over the left side of the tree. The left side of the tree top is going to be more for damage. The right side of the tree top will be more for survival and invulnerability frames. And then we always go down to the bottom here. We'll get into that in a minute. So the left side here we talk about, we're just adding a crit rate to the Texas Smash. So that's the one you have to hold the longest. And you hit, and crit rate, again, it gets increased a little bit. Next up, it says, All Might will always fight to the end. The damage of Q, Detroit Smash is increased by 12%. You know, just more damage as we move through. Now we hit a big passive. When you use I Am Here, the damage of Texas Smash is increased by 60%. And if we go back to his skills, I Am Here is going to be his E. So you're going to use E, and you're going to do the tornado that comes with it. And then you're going to go into a Texas Smash when you can, because it is going to be increased by quite a bit, and you're going to do more damage. Because you're going to find yourself always wanting to do the tornado Oklahoma Smash, with his normal attacks. But this point, when you combo, you're going to want to go into the Texas Smash for more damage. Moving on to here, All Might improves his skill to better pursue enemies. His movement speed is up after using W. So that's just going to be his W ability where he also jumps and leaps at the enemy, and now he can chase them down a little bit more. Because he's kind of a slow character without this kind of stuff, and his dodge is really a short dodge. So this helps him get around quicker. And then this one right here is insane. The harder it is, the more you cannot give up, because the hero always breaks beyond their boundaries. When All Might loses 1% HP, his attack increases by 1%. Now here's the problem with this, right? All Might almost never takes damage, and if he does, he heals it, or he mitigates it. It's really hard to get All Might to take damage. Now, I'm not saying like the harder difficulty isn't going to whoop our ass, but right now in the game, because he's so strong, he is not taking much damage. So the part where I've found this to be the most useful is when I'm fighting like a chip challenge or something that lets me go into overtime and slowly ticks my health down. All Might will literally one-shot like 5 bars of health when he gets down enough, because you get so much of your attack increased here. It's absolutely insane. And there's even strategies to be talked about where you let the boss hit you, and you let your HP go down to build up this attack, and then you just go in and start tearing them up with All Might. But I went this way because All Might just never seems to take damage for me, so I went with the left way first. depending on which one of these you choose, okay, we'll go over this side in a second. The next step after you get one of these big nodes is to go down and get this right here, okay? It's very important. So we'll move our way down. Now we just have his W gets increased damage here. The next one is that's the damage of Carolina Smash, Oklahoma Smash, and Texas Smash, which are all of his, charge up abilities from his auto attack, are increased by 2%. But this one is huge, okay? New Hampshire Smash, when he uses it, it is going to give him a shield equal to 20% of his max HP and increases attack by 100%. Okay, so think about that for a minute. Not only are you getting buffed from his quirk ability, now you're getting buffed by using your W, and you're getting a huge shield. So gain a shield equal to 20% max HP, and it lasts 5 seconds. And if we go back to the skill, and we go back to W, the cooldown is 18 seconds, and it's insane. Like, you can keep it up and up and up and up, and it seems like he never just takes damage, because you're not getting hit all the time anyway. This right here just makes All Might like an unstoppable force. I think everybody should go down and get this point, at least, as you're working through whichever side you go to. So now let's look at the right side. The right side, we're going to have damage to I am here increase, which is his E. This is insane too. Listen to this. Okay, All Might always flashes his signature grin no matter how dire the situation. When HP is lowered to 40%, All Might recovers 50% of his max HP. So every time it has a 60-second cooldown. So every time he drops below 40%, 50% back up. And you wait a minute, it goes down 50% back up. And he just keeps getting that back. And then obviously you can put support cards on him to give him health. He has all the shields I've talked about, especially if you get him to SS with his normal basic assault attack. So this is insane healing, like I said. And moving on, we have more heavy strike damage increased to his heavy strike. So this is just only going to be for the 1-2. It's not going to affect his Texas Smash, Oklahoma Smash, or Carolina Smash. So it's going to make his 1-2 a little bit stronger. And then this is the big note at the end. After Transferred Might is activated, All Might is immune to all damage while Oklahoma Smash, second charge of Heavy Strike. So as long as you have his quirk ability activated, and it does last a while as it's coming down, if you're using Oklahoma Smash versus the Tornado, not only are you immune to getting knocked down, you're not taking any damage at all anyway. Absolutely disgusting passives here for All Might. A lot of people, you're kind of like, this is kind of good. All Might just shines through all of them. And again, the reason I went with the left side is I want more damage because he doesn't even seem like he's taking damage anyway. And if he does, I get popped with this. And this side is more if you're running into All Might problems, you're not, you know what I mean? You want the healing, you want to be able to be immune. This is where you go. But everybody should get this for that nice shield and that nice attack up. Looking at his chip set, guys, we're going to go over chips later on, but you guys can get his chips from either summoning for him from the summon bonus, or you can get them from the just farming them in the game like we've talked about with chips. His set bonus he gets from this, and that's all I'm going to talk about because we'll have to go over this in a little bit and what kind of like stats you want on. We'll have a whole video about this because this is the end game grind right here along with the gear. He gets Symbol of Peace. During the activation of Transferred Might, his quirk ability, an additional 50% damage will be added to WE and automatically use Oklahoma Smash. So this is where I'm talking about when you use the W, when you use the E, he goes straight into an Oklahoma Smash, and it is so fun to play this kind of style, but you do need to get his full chip set. And again, if you guys are trying to get his chip set, I know you guys are pumping for energy right now, but eventually it'll be over that. Head over to Night Ops, and you can farm them here. All Might shard drops here, and once you fill this bar all the way up, you can just take this bad boy that they give you, and those can drop from the battle. I haven't had it happen yet, but people say they have. You can head with that. You can head over to the shop, go to the mall, go to Night Ops, and once you get one, you can pick All Might, and then it lets you pick one of the three. So if you're missing one, you can just pick whichever one of the three that you need, that you're missing. And then I also want to point out again, and as you can see, I reached the total number of summons. You get 2 of them here anyway. So, that's a way to make sure you get his passive there, but it is an extremely strong one with his chips, so I highly recommend farming that when you get done with going for your food. And then we're going to take a look at his cards. But honestly, cards are going to be very, we're so early in the game that cards are going to be very much, they're going to be dependent on the account. So obviously you want to put whatever 2 best actives that you have. His 2 passive cards really aren't that big of a deal. The one that I don't have just increases his damage by X amount. There's not much thinking into that. This one right here says he enters a condemnation mode when obtaining 1-for-all amplification. So that's every time he either uses his quirk ability or he hits one of those heavy strike special moves. Increases damage by 14%. So he just gets more and more damage. With All Might, I would not be worried at all about putting something on him like that heals him, puts shields on him, any of that kind of stuff. He does that all on his own until we find some big boss where maybe we need some damage mitigation. But even then, we kind of want All Might getting hit a little bit to get that attack passive that we talked about. So really go in here. You just want anything and everything that you can find that will increase his attack and make him do more damage. That's what you want with All Might because he has the defensive capabilities already in his back pocket. Going down to his assist, we can have Bakugo down here with the W. We have Momo at the top, and then at the bottom, I think one of the best assists in the game, which is Tokoyami. It really doesn't matter, right? Because you go from A to A, it does the damage, but also does a little bit more. Like, for example, Tokoyami brings the enemies in for you to hit with All Might. So it really just depends on which ones you have unlocked and which way you like the play style. For me, right now, I'm not going to go over these too much because people have different ones. You know what I mean? They're not a lot out there. The only one I would recommend 100% if you have is Tokoyami because of the ability to grip people in. It's so strong to get everybody in there and start punching down with All Might. Other than that, guys, I think that's about it that we can talk about. I am raising his affinity up for his passive that he gives the people. And I'm just having a ton of fun with him. You guys, if you need to, let's see if he has any costumes. I haven't looked at this yet. No, he doesn't, sadly. That'd be sick if he had a costume, though. Yeah, but I don't want to take too much more of your time. Again, I'm going to show a little showcase as I'm trying to get a better score in the mock battle with All Might after this. There's not going to be any talking. It's just going to be me whooping some booty, and you can see kind of how I play All Might and how he works. Give yourself a chance to try him out at least so you can just see what he's all about by going over here and doing the tutorials, which I haven't done yet, and practice him up, and I'm sure you'll be a really great All Might in the end. So, hope you guys enjoyed this video and enjoy the rest of the segment where I just play with All Might and have fun.
Just was. Just was. Detroit smash. United States of smash. You have just was. Detroit smash. You have just was. Detroit smash. You have just was. United States of smash. You have just was. Detroit smash. You have just was. Detroit smash.